Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the PUMA Stewie 2. So this shoe retails for 125 bucks. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave the affiliate link in the description box. But let's get it started right off with the tracciones. And the traction pattern looks pretty damn cool, right? So here in the forefoot we have a herringbone, like a modified herringbone traction pattern, and then here in the midfoot we have like, it kind of reminds me of clouds, you know, very cool cloud pattern. I don't know why, but it reminds me of like, if you guys have ever seen Avatar, you know, the airbenders, kind of reminds me of that for some reason. We had her logo here and also the Puma logo, and then here in the heel we have some like, kind of reminds me of like flames or something, right? So flames, air, and then herringbone, which pretty cool pattern, you know, kind of weird. But anyways, how is the traction? The traction is pretty good, you know. I definitely wouldn't say it's amazing, it's not top tier or anything, but it's pretty solid, right? So you do need to break it in as well, you know. So at first I was sliding around, it was a little inconsistent, but once I broke it in after like a couple days, even maybe like almost a week, it started to get pretty damn good. It was solid. So when I was playing on a clean court, right, so I'm playing on two surfaces right now, just because I have two memberships. So there is a LA Fitness across the street from me. It's a brand new resurfaced court, very clean most of the time. It's getting a little bit dusty right now just because it's been like a month or two. The 24-hour Fitness, however, it's pretty dusty. You know what I mean? So I'm playing on two surfaces. So the LA Fitness clean court, I was having a pretty damn good time and didn't really have any issues with it. Like I said, not top tier stops, but really good stops, right? When I was playing on 24-hour Fitness, however, it was sliding around just a tiny bit, and also it was trapping the dirt and dust, right? So as you guys can see, the sorry, that's gum. I stepped in gum, which is pretty nasty. I just touched it, danging it. But yeah, you see how close the grooves are together, right? So that was probably like picking up, like trapping dirt and dust and debris. So it wasn't the best. Yeah, it wasn't super easy to wipe off either, you know what I mean? So I really had to get in there, really wipe off the dirt. So just be careful if you're playing on a dusty court, right? It still wouldn't, the good thing, however, it wasn't sliding out like crazy. It's just not as good of a bite, of course, as on a clean court. So I would say that the performance on dust is still pretty good. It's just like, it was annoying to wipe off, that's all, right? And also on an outdoor court, probably not the best, you know what I mean? Especially with this herringbone here in the toe box, and this is kind of like where the high wear area is, right? So the rubber is really soft, very thin, so probably not the best on the outdoor court. So overall traction, I would say it's pretty solid. Now moving on to the heel to toe transition, felt very smooth, very nice here in the heel. Although the foam is caged, and I don't like this personally, just because in the back of the heel I want a little bit more compression. It's still very soft, right? There's still a good amount of compression, you know. So it felt very nice here in the heel, and in the forefoot we have a nice rounded curved shape and a lot of forefoot flex, which I did like. So it's just a super smooth feeling shoe, especially when you're playing in it, when you're running down, you know, doing heel dominant strides down the court. Very smooth feeling, right? So it felt very nice for heel to toe transition. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So they're saying this is a nitro infused midsole, which is weird. I don't know why they're not calling it just nitro foam. I wonder if it's different, but also it just says it says nitro infused right here. Just kind of weird, but anyways, it's thick. Look at the heel. She thick with like 3 C's, you know what I mean? So here in the forefoot, it does, you know, you have good core feel, and then here in the heel, it does get pretty thick, right? So there is a pretty high offset. I mean, for me, I don't really care, you know, if it has a high offset or like no offset. I feel like some people do mind that, so I'm telling you guys. But for me, I don't really mind it all too much, right? There is a good amount of heel compression as well. It's soft, it's comfortable. The one thing that kind of sucks though is the step-in comfort, right? So the step-in comfort is really nice because Puma gives really thick, very plush insoles. However, insoles bottom out pretty quickly, right? In like a couple weeks, you know, when you keep playing in it, you know what I mean? And then underneath that, the stroke board is pretty damn stiff, right? So I wish Puma would change that up, right? Because like Puma's kind of in like the stone ages, you know what I mean? And like Way of Wade with the soft mesh stroke board is really nice. Nike has Zoom Strobel, Air Strobel, right? So I feel like Puma needs to, you know, upgrade, you know, give a softer mesh stroke board even, or just a softer Strobel board. But yeah, the step-in coverage really nice in first, but you know, like I said, the insole does bottom out. But overall impact protection is great. Court feel is all right. You know, here in the forefoot, like I said, low to the ground, and then here in the heel, it's kind of high up. So overall, the cushion is really nice. You know, I don't really mind the cushion really at all. It's responsive too. It's not too soft. It's not too mushy feeling either. It's just the right amount for me. So yeah, the cushioning setup was pretty damn nice. All right, moving on to the material. So the material felt pretty nice on foot. However, it does feel pretty damn cheap. You know what I mean? So it does feel flimsy. Look at that. Very, very flimsy. However, you know, it's very, very soft, right? When I press it with my fingers, it just gives, right? Which is a good thing. You know, you want it to conform to your foot very well. It doesn't feel stiff. It's not uncomfortable or anything. Also, it's really, really thin, right? But it's just, you know, cheap and flimsy feeling, you know, just especially in hand. But yeah, we also have a good amount of fuse here in the toe box and also like around the entire upper. Stays extremely thin here in the midfoot. And then for the tongue, we have a good amount of foam, which I do like a lot. Well, basically all Puma shoes have a very thick, very plush tongue, which I do like. It feels very comfortable. It's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, we have like an average, like maybe a little bit more than average amount of padding, right? I would say not as much as like LaMelo balls, like the MBs, but it does still have a little bit of plushness, a little bit of coziness here in the ankle area too. So on foot, it feels great, right? It's very plush, very comfortable here in the back of the shoe, and then here in the midfoot, and also like here in the toe box, it's very, very thin. Also very minimal feeling, it conforms to your foot very well and all that. So that's very nice. But if you want like a very nice quality material, this definitely is not the best. But like I said, on foot, it feels nice. And now moving on to the fit, right? So this is a women's shoe, right? So if you don't know, you have it. The conversion is like a size and a half, right? So if you're a men's size 8, you should be getting a women's size 9.5. However, I went true to size, right? And this shoe runs pretty damn small, right? It does run short, and also it's freaking tight here in the toe box, super duper snug. So I would suggest going up 2 sizes. So if you're a men's size 8, for this shoe, I would suggest getting women's size 10, right? If you want like a little bit more relaxed fit. Like if you want a super duper snug fit, then I guess go, you know, size and a half up or whatever, and go true to size. But for most people, I would suggest going up 2 sizes, right? So like I said, I went true to size, and it runs short, right? It does run a little short, and also super duper snug here in the toe box, and also like slightly narrow, right? So for the most part, like I did not like wearing this shoe outdoors, like when I was just going out, right? If I was just walking my dogs or something, because most of the time I do like to, you know, walk around casually in the shoes that I'm testing as well, just to see how it feels and stuff like that. But it was really tight, right? But when I was playing ball, it wasn't a huge deal, just because I like to have a really, really snug fit in my ball shoes. I like to have very good lockdown as well. So when I was playing it wasn't a huge deal, right? So for the most part, if you like a very snug fit, you should be fine. If you have a wide foot or you want a roomier fit, yeah, probably not the best option. This shoe's probably not the best option, just because, like I said, very, very snug fit, right? All right, moving on to support and lockdown, I also really didn't have that many issues, right? So lateral containment, I thought it was gonna roll over on itself as far as like this thin material goes, but like for some reason it felt pretty good. I guess it's like the fuse or something. But yeah, lateral containment, my foot felt like held into the shoe. It felt adequate for me. I would say though, if it's not the best for support, like if you're looking for a super duper supported shoe, like I don't know, like the foam posits or something like that, it's obviously not the best option, right? I'm just saying it was adequate for me. I feel like it'll be adequate for most people as well. Here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter, as well as like this, the rubber coming up here in the back of the shoe. So lateral containment was good for me, and also lateral stability, very, very good. You know, for some reason, Pumas, they usually make like narrower shoes, but here in the Stewie 2, we do have a little bit of an outrigger. Look at that. So it does get pretty wide here in the forefoot. So that felt nice as well. And also another added bonus that I forgot to mention is kind of like the outsole curvature. You know what I mean? It reminds me of like the newer Kyrie's. You know, definitely not as crazy as like the Kyrie 2, 3, and 4. It reminds me a little bit more of like the Kyrie 7, you know, 5, 6, and 7, where it's a little bit flatter, but we do have a little bit of a curve here as well, with the rubber coming up here on the medial side for better grip when you're doing these types of movements. So that felt very nice as well. Moving on to the weight of the shoe. So, you know, Pumas usually, they're not the best for weight, just because their cushion technology is like, it's a very high density foam. So it's usually on the heavier side of things, even though, you know, like I said, this material is super thin, very minimal. It's 12.7 ounces, right? I feel like if it was like Boom or React or something like Lunarlon, it would probably be like 10, 11 ounces, right? But 12.4 ounces still isn't that heavy. 12.45 ounces for the other shoe. So it's just average weight. And it felt very, very nice on foot, right? So it's cozy here in the back of the shoe, but also overall very, very minimal for the upper. And then nothing really protrudes out like crazy. Look at that. A very streamlined shoe, you know, so it doesn't feel bulky at all. Overall, it is responsive too. You know, you feel pretty damn quick when you're playing it, especially on a clean court, and you have a responsive cushion, you know, but it's also comfortable, you know what I mean? So overall, it felt very nice when I was playing it. Moving on to the ventilation, not the best as far as airflow goes. There's really not a whole lot of airflow through this thin material just because there's a lot of fuse and stuff like that over it. But like I said, it's a thin material, so it doesn't keep in heat that well. So for the most part, I would say the ventilation is alright, right? Moving on to the aesthetics, I like it, especially this colorway. It reminds me of Pokemon Ruby Red. You know what I mean? You have a red color, but also like this darker red color. This colorway looks great, and also the overall silhouette does look good to me in my personal opinion. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, overall I would say it's a pretty damn nice shoe. It's definitely way better than the Stewie ones. It reminds me a lot of the Stewie ones, just with better traction in my personal experience, right? Also, like I said though, it wasn't top tier traction. It wasn't amazing top tier traction. It's just solid cushion, responsive and comfortable, and adequate impact protection. Material, it felt nice on foot. Support was good for me. It was adequate for me as well. It fit me well because it's a super snug fit. So I did like it. You know what I mean? It's definitely not like my favorite shoe. You know what I mean? It's not my favorite shoe to play in. It'll probably very loosely be in my rotation. But for the most part, it's a nice performer, right? And also for 125 bucks, I would say it's a pretty nice price for the performance and tech that you're getting. So yeah, if you want the Stewie 2, definitely go ahead and check it out. In my personal opinion, like I said, there are better options out there. But you know, I definitely feel like a lot of people will enjoy this shoe. Like if you're a guard, you'll definitely enjoy it. But also if you're a bigger person and you like post up and need a little bit of support, I feel like you should be fine in this shoe as well. Although, like I said, it's not the best for support, right? But anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Stewie 2. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave the affiliate link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.